Hey everybody, it's Road to Recovery, and today we're going to be talking about journaling. Stay tuned. So, journaling can be considered a cognitive behavior therapy tactic, and unlike a lot of the other tactics that I've talked about here, this tactic is more, it's not reactionary, it's more historical. In other words, you're going to be mindful, you're going to engage it when you have the time of doing it. Sometimes you can engage it when you're directly having problems, but oftentimes we're more in a reflective state when we're actually journaling. But it can be a very useful tool, and it can be useful in several different ways. For one, you can use it for positive affirmations. So I talked about in this channel before, setting affirmations for yourself where you start the day off positively. So a lot of times inside of recovery, we constantly are thinking about, oh, what do I have to do next in order to not act out, right? And instead, we should really be thinking positively about the things that are on our plate. It's like, I've got to get this done, I've got to get that done. So, you know what? I think I can do this. I think I have a clear plan today, and I think I'm strong enough to be able to get this. As a matter of fact, I know I'm strong enough, right? So sometimes journaling can just be positive affirmations about yourself and what your good qualities are and acting on those good qualities. And so setting those affirmations in a journal can be a very good start to anyone's day, whether it's at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day. Another thing is goal setting. So it kind of ties in with the affirmation. So we talked before about setting goals. As a matter of fact, it's another tactic here in my series. Goal setting is extremely important, but also you can tie that in with the journaling aspect to really flesh things out. You know, it's one thing to just in the back of your mind say, yeah, I'd like to accomplish that. But what about actually doing things? What about actually setting your intentionality to the task at hand? And sometimes that involves some critical thinking. You got to sit down and really think about, what can I accomplish? What do I have the skills? What do I need to still work on? What are some of the things that are going to hold me back? And so all of those are really important questions, right? Where can you answer those things, and where can you actually spend some time thinking about it critically? You can do that in a journal, right? So using a journal for something like that is an appropriate use of the tool, but it's also really important. And by the way, I have one right here that I use. I have a sponsor that has been working in this program for 20 years. He's got an entire box of journals since his very beginning when he first got into recovery. So it can absolutely be a positive thing inside of your life. Another thing is reviewing your experiences. Now, I've talked about this before, that if you go look at my slip-ups video, in that I kind of discussed that sometimes you have to be Sherlock Holmes. You really got to put your hat on, and you've got to, get your investigative pipe in there, and you've really got to look at the clues and the evidence as to why you acted out. But sometimes being an investigator also means looking at things that had happened historically inside of your life. No man lives on an island, right? The addiction didn't just come up and slap you in the face. A lot of times there's a lot of historical reasons for why things happen and why we dig into it so much. Not every single person that is out there is using porn is necessarily an addict, but certainly the people who subscribe to my channel and maybe are paying close attention, they realize that addiction is part of it, that they can't let go of the actual porn consumption. Well, why is that? And sometimes when you start digging into your past, you'll find out that either you had traumatic experiences or that there were times in your life where you were either dealing with things that you didn't want to deal with, and so it was your out, right? Journaling about those experiences can actually be eye-opening, because especially as you've heard from my Stories of a Porn Addict series, I didn't just sit down and just start, recording those things. I spent a lot of time thinking about those incidences. And as I started thinking about it, I was able to flesh in the little details, the details that mattered. And as you hear from my Stories of a Porn Addict series, a lot of those details helped me identify the traits of addiction that I was culpable and I was completely setting myself into, right? I couldn't have done that had I not been sitting down and thinking about it. All those stories, I don't know if I could have just told those off the cuff. I had to actually sit down and write them down, right? And that was critical in my recovery effort. So, thinking about the investigative tools is really critical, and being able to get the information and the important clues and aspects about your addiction are all powerful uses of the journal. The other thing is, as I like to say, is doing the wherewithal, getting into the actual information itself, and being able to take what you've learned from your addiction story, whatever those journaling efforts are, and be able to talk about them in a meaningful way. And in this regard, the journaling can be really positive. So, once you've learned something from what your investigative efforts have revealed about yourself, start writing about that. It's like, yeah, today I kind of learned about the fact that I'm a hothead, right? That's my own personality defect. So that defect informs me, because when I start flying off the handle, I'm more prone to acting out, right? Because I don't want to be in that, agitated state. So for me, being inside of pornography was a way of being able to chill the hell out. But that's not a healthy relationship, right? And sometimes just being able to reflect on that is a good thing. Well, I could talk to you about that, which is definitely a good thing. But also sometimes in a quiet time, in a quiet space, being able to write about that, really reflecting on those experiences and how they've informed you about the person you are, and then getting back onto your goal setting and things that you need to work on, right? How can I better manage this? Those are all fantastic uses of journaling. I wanted to last leave you with something written by Dr. Kathleen Adams, and you can read her website over at journaltherapy.com. She concocted a fantastic acronym that I wanted to share with you, and the acronym is WRITE, W-R-I-T-E. W, what do you want to write about? Name it. R, review or reflect your topic. Close your eyes, take deep breaths, and focus. I, investigate your thoughts and feelings. Just start writing and keep writing. T, time yourself. Write for 5 or 15 minutes straight. E, exit smart by rereading what you've written and reflect on it with 1 or 2 sentences. And then I would even add on to that E part, if you are in the 12-step program, after you've come up with something that's really insightful, hey, call your sponsor or a recovery buddy and actually talk about it. Add on to the journaling effort, right? So as you can see, this journaling ties in with a lot of different tactics that I've shared here before, but also a lot of different topics that I've talked about here on my own channel. I hope you found this information useful. Please like, share, and subscribe. It helps me get out the message to the addict that still suffers. If you need to reach me for any reason, you can reach me on Twitter at road2recovery 11. You could also email me at roadtorecovery11@yahoo.com. I don't make any money from what I do here. This is all me giving back, me acting on my own 12th step and helping the addict that still suffers. Please stay on that road to recovery. Take care of yourself and have a good day.